What is going on, you guys? Happy Flex Friday. So, in the spirit of TKC, we always like to bring on a beautiful guest who is a byproduct of the product because, after the TKC, we normally jump into the Raw Transformation Program. And, you're going to hear Erin and I talk about it. However, it's really easy to, think, okay, like this is just another program. But the reality is that it's a truly transformative program, and it's not about what we say, it's about the results that this program brings. And today I have a very special guest with you who has done some incredible things. Her doing this today is stepping outside of her comfort zone, and the reason why we do this is because we want to show you real people who are just like you. And anything is possible when you truly make the decision to show up. So, this very special guest has been an avid ES Army member since August of 2022. We're currently in January 2023. Her journey with ENS started with the TKC at the age of 32, and over the last 4 months, she dropped 24 pounds of excess fat. And in her words, while I dropped 24 pounds from my body, the mental weight I have lost is so much more, along with the awareness that I have gained. Ashley's story is real, relatable, and inspiring. And if she can, so can you. Ashley, welcome to the show. Hey!
How's it going?
How are ya?
I'm good.
How do you feel?
I feel kind of weightless today. I'm very honored that I get to be on this. I'm super shocked, and I feel so much lighter in my mind and in my spirit these days. It feels great.
Why do you feel shocked?
I'm shocked that I could do something like this, that I put myself out there, and it has opened a door I never even knew was there.
Yep. I love it. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to just get raw and real with it and honestly showcase your story to inspire people because, it's always really easy to think that like nobody gets me. I'm the only one who's going through this. But the reality is that, this community is unlike no other. And, you've done the TKC, so you know what normally comes after the TKC. And it's really easy to hear about the Raw Transformation Program. And I know that a couple of months ago, you've been in those shoes and you've made the courageous step, and your life has truly transformed. So, let's go back by just all the way back to TKC. Like, why did you even get inspired to do the TKC? Like, where were you at in life back then, back 4 months ago?
I was down on myself all the time. I constantly sold myself short. I talked shit to myself every day, and it was just an everyday battle. It just you're never gonna make it. And I saw the ad. I don't even know how it came up on my Facebook and on my Instagram, and it said free. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lose anything. It's free. Why not? Well, I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And towards the end, when you guys really hit on the same like you did today for the last day about your health, you're gonna either pay for it later, or you're gonna pay to make the investment now to help yourself be better. And it was like a big slap in the face. And everybody around me in my life, they're all drowning in being angry or sad or illness, and I didn't want to be like that. And I have felt this way for so long, and it got worse and worse. And I drank my days away. I used drugs and blew my day away all the time because I couldn't handle trying to be me. And I took the plunge and I signed up for the raw. And at first I started out a little slow, like maybe I made a mistake, maybe I'm not invested in this like I thought, and it was not the case at all.
So, okay, you guys, we all have our vice, that thing that we go to whenever we feel upset, that thing we go to when we want to be comforted, that thing we go to when we feel like we want to hide. And, for those of you who are listening to this live, please go ahead and drop it in the chat, just so that each and every one of us can really see one another, so that you can see that you're not alone. So I sense that your thing used to be drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
Um, can we go deep real quick?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask, what drugs did you use as a coping mechanism, and like what and how much did you abuse?
Well, when I was younger, I mean, I started drinking and trying drugs. I mean, when I was in high school, I think I started drinking at 14.
Wow.
And I smoked weed all day, every day for like 14 years.
Really?
Yes. I've tried some other very hard drugs. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening.
By the way, we do have some homies in the house. I see CJ, see Shiloh. You're probably like, oh God, you guys, we keep it real here.
Those are my brother and sister.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, I tried cocaine. I've tried pills. I've tried some of the heavy stuff. I've tried heroin before. I've been dope sick, and it scared the shit out of me. And God, it was such a slap in the face. And I'm over the moon grateful that I was able to step away from that. And it didn't catch me like some of my very good friends.
Yeah, that's deep. So where was your health back then? Because, apparently for you, it sounds like the turning point was when we said something about, like, if you don't take your health into your matters, if you don't take your health into your hands right now, a couple of years from now, you're going to find yourself in a completely different situation. And, it's going to be really hard to turn it around. So talk to us about that part.
I mean, all of my friends that I had fallen into with the drug world, I had a really good friend who, he tried to OD a few times, and he lived. He's sober today, and he's got his life back on track. But I think alcohol was probably the biggest. I mean, it's been around in my life for as long as I can remember. Like, even my parents being like, who can get to the fridge fast enough to get me a beer, gets a quarter, like when we were kids. And I saw specifically my dad, he's, in early like dementia from drinking, and it has pushed him over the edge. And now he's in a place that, is forcing him to learn to be sober. And I didn't want to fall into that trap. And I could see it in myself every day, how if I was angry or sad, or if I wanted to celebrate, I would just drink. And that's what everybody around me wanted to do. And I noticed, I had gotten a DUI that when the officer pulled me over, he said, "This amount of alcohol puts grown men on their knees, and you're standing here talking to me. This is ridiculous." And, I had that experience, and it was a big slap in the face, because I could have hurt somebody, and I would never forgive myself if I hurt someone else for a stupid decision that I made. And I, was caught up in depression, years down the road, and still, still drinking, still using drugs. And, I drove my car off the side of the road to either just hurt myself or to just end it, to think that that was the only break I was going to get, was to hurt myself. And it was too much. It got to be a big point that I noticed it was coming, and it was coming for me.
Did you believe that you were worth it? And if so, why? Like, I'm hearing your story and I'm like, man, for one, I'm so grateful. But, you said that you intentionally wanted to drive yourself into the ground. So I'm just like, man, that's such a courageous move, because it seems as if you still had hope. If you don't have hope, you're not going to sign up for the Raw. But you did have hope. So, like, what inspired that?
I was in a very abusive relationship for a very long time. And, once I just felt I couldn't leave. And when I finally did, I never thought that I would be able to. And it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. And, once I did it, how much better I felt, and the fact that I actually did it. It didn't kill me like I thought it was going to. I looked at it as, this isn't the end. All of these terrible experiences that led me here, that's not all that defines me. There's more for my life. And it took me a little bit to realize how much more I wanted, and, that I was worth it. And it just kept going from there. I didn't think that it was at first, but the little tiny baby steps that I took and having my family close to me helped me to get back.
Wow, I love that. You still had a hope. So good. And okay, so I want to ask about Fender Black. Like, where did that name come from? Like,
it's I had deleted my old account with my name, and I couldn't use the same name. And so my sister and I were goofing around. I like to play guitar, and I always have wanted a Fender. And I like the color black. So just made a goofy name, and I just made a different account.
Love that, Fender Black. So, you decided to join the Raw immediately after the TKC. And now, have you done any programs like that before?
No.
Okay, so I can't tell you, I can't ask you that question, but the question I want to ask you is, talk to us about your experience in the Raw.
At first, it was a little daunting. It was very overwhelming. Like, there's, the Raw 56 game, like all of the worksheets, and just like, oh God, if I don't do all of it, like, well then what was the point of doing it? But, once you started going and you meet more people, and especially, talking to my coach and Coach Jess, woo. And
I think Jess is here.
And, really noticing that I'm not the only one that has these struggles. I'm not the only one that feels this way about themselves every day. And I'm definitely not alone in my struggles with food, or my struggle with how I look at myself and how you talk to yourself. It was very humbling.
Share with us your story of becoming, like, week by week, over the matter of 8 weeks. Like, at first, like, what did you think you were getting yourself into? And then as you like, got into it, what was it like? And then, like, how did you become? Like, take us through that, because you guys, this is real. The reason why we want to share this with you guys is because we want to take you on a journey so that you can see what is possible for you regardless of where you're at.
Oh man. I know when I started, it was definitely like, okay, I got to do all the things. I got to print out all the stuff. And I was on it. And then, I got caught up with work, and I missed a workout, I think I think into the second week. And I was like, shit. And I got a little discouraged and I kind of fell behind. And then I'm like, oh, no, I'm really behind. And
Did you have a moment when you stopped talking to your coach?
Yes, I did.
And what happened? What happened?
It was my phone just blew up all the time, like every couple of minutes. What are you doing? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? And I didn't use like the little app that you could talk so that you can really like hear someone's emotion. I would just text. And I mean, you guys know, you've been doing this for so long, you know. And
I know, but I want them to know. I want you guys to know so that you know, like, what this is all about and how to make it happen regardless of where you've been through, because you can. So you hid for a little while. How long did you hide for?
Probably a solid week for sure. And within that hiding moment, there was more snacking, more eating, and drinking more still.
Like what would you go for when you would drink?
Awful, the Dirty 30 beer, like Miller High Life, the worst stuff that you can get. Bags of Doritos. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Ice cream. I mean, all of it. And I was spending time with my mom, so that's all that was in the house was, the butter popcorn, I can't even imagine all of it that's there. And it's Pop-Tarts, just everything. And, I definitely hid for a while and I felt very defeated. I can't come back from this. I started this program now. Like the whole idea of you slash all the tires, like you just screwed yourself.
Your brother's like my Andes mints.
Yes, I would eat all of them and then tell him he must have misplaced them. I don't know what he did with them.
So you were like so imperfect.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 questions with regards to that. What made you decide what was the thing that made you re-engage? And then I want you to hit on, is this possible for me even if I'm so imperfect?
I think, when I would talk to Coach Jess, she really had made it a point to be like, it's okay to mess up. Everybody has bad days. It doesn't mean that tomorrow's not going to come and that you can't be better. That was the biggest thing that she would always say to me, you can always do better tomorrow. And I was always just so stuck in the moment, like, of this problem right now. And, the imperfectness, that's been my whole life. But, once I really thought about it, I'm like, why am I getting so angry and obsessed about this one thing that I did bad today? And then thinking about the next day, you totally did better. And yesterday, you just threw that out the window anyway. Like, it doesn't even matter. It was, nothing is perfect. If it was perfect, nobody would have problems. Nobody would, everything would be great and nobody would have to, programs like this wouldn't even exist because everybody would just be happy and everything would be fine. But it's a day by day thing. Just because you have one bad day doesn't mean that every day is going to be bad. It's just have to keep going.
That's right. Okay. So week 3, you re-engaged, right? Talk to us about, take us on your journey.
Well, I can't exactly remember what week 3 was about, but, once I started like getting back in
perspective.
Yes. I started getting back into the habit and really, really getting a perspective of, okay, just one little thing good today. That's great. Tomorrow try for 2 things. And, once I got back into the rhythm, week 4 came around and that was the big kick, and it was your environment. And man, it really made me think back to, where I started when I first went back home, to help with some family things, and then finding the TKC, and then finding that I wanted to do that. It really made me pay attention to where I came from, and that if I could overcome that shitstorm that I was in, I can keep going. I can do anything. And it made me think of, who are the people that are closest to me? How do they make me feel? Is that something that I can change, or is it something that I need to get rid of? And yeah, nobody likes to tell their friends or their family, that you're contributing to why I feel so bad. Nobody wants to have that conversation, especially when, those friends, they give you shit, and they're like, oh, if you just stay a little bit more, or, you know, you're not the same anymore. You're not the fun Ashley anymore. Like, this is lame. And then, your family members too, and they're like, what do you mean you're going to work out? You've never done that before. Like, why aren't you outside drinking a beer with me like we always do? Like, what, you're so different now. I don't understand. But, once I really thought about it, and took the time to say that to these people that were closest to me, I found out who was truly my friend and who was really there for me. And it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I just built it up so much in my head that I didn't want to disappoint anybody, and I didn't want people to, to leave that fear of rejection.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're a good person and you know, you care about people. But what you didn't recognize is that because you didn't have the tools and the skills to confront it in a positive manner, you kept avoiding it, which led to the same thing that kept on happening over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Okay. So you confronted, certain situations on week 4. Got it. And then, yeah, talk to us about the other couple weeks.
So once I cried for the whole week of the alignment, I started getting better at, okay, I knew that all of the worksheets were going to come out on Sunday. So I started to make time to print out the week's homework on Sunday so that I had it and I was ready to go. And I got better at my time management. I got better at not worrying about what everybody cared. What does it matter? I want to do what I want to do. And it made me feel better. So I didn't care what everybody thought. I'm going to do this every day. And if you don't like it, well, then you don't like it. That's your problem. That's a you problem, not a me problem. And it took a long time to really believe that. And I still had moments where it was hard, but I started getting better at, making the time for myself, about being able to, even if it was just say, no, I don't want that for dinner, make decisions for myself and tell people what I needed, which was so hard. I'm awful at asking for what I need or asking for help. And, once my family members really saw that, I was becoming invested in this, and they noticed that my attitude changed. I was happier. I wasn't angry. My temper had really gone away. My body felt better. I had more energy. And, once they really saw that I was committed to that, they like, wow, okay, this isn't just, something that you are just like going through a phase, or, oh, I'm just going to try it. It's the next fad, it really, really showed not only my family, but myself, that I could stick with this.
I love it. Side question. Have you tried doing other things in the past?
I tried the, I think it's P90X, or like Insanity, whatever that is.
Uh-huh.
And I got really, really sick And I got the flu when I had done it a long time ago, and I never picked it back up. And it made me feel like shit because they're all like, oh, count the calories. Oh, you need to eat this. Like your typical, normal thing that they all go through. And it was so overwhelming, and it was defeating because I never got anywhere with it.
Because you felt like it was so many steps ahead that you couldn't relate to it.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you tried anything else other than that?
No.
And then you tried the raw. You didn't try the raw. You went all in. And you guys, all in looks different at different points of your journey. All in looks different at different points of your journey. And talk to us about, since the raw transformation program, what were you able to accomplish on a physical level, on a mental level, on an emotional level?
On the physical level, none of my clothes fit. They're all too big. But
No problems.
I could, like, when I first did the raw, I'm repeating Burn Zone 1 right now, and I have like little notes on every day that I had done. And since I restarted it, I can keep up with every one of them. I haven't had to take a break. The only thing that I have to modify right now are the handstand kick throughs, because it hasn't come yet. But my body feels better. I can physically see a change every day. I never thought that I would ever appreciate myself like that. I've always been the heavyset kid, always wearing baggy clothes to hide everything, and I don't feel that way anymore.
I love that. So in week 1, we go over this exercise called Vision and Goals. Do you remember what your 8-week goals were?
I think one of them definitely was to fit into my clothes again.
And what happened since then?
I have blown way past that. Everything's like 2 sizes too big.
What were your 6 months goals?
I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure if it was an 8-week or a 6-month. I think it was a 6-month goal, that I wanted to be able to feel comfortable in any pair of clothing that I was wearing and not feel like I had to hide, that I was worried about my stomach or anything like that I could actually go out into public and not feel weird in my clothes or in my own body.
Yeah. And
I feel a hell of a lot better when I go out. I don't care at all now.
I love it. So what are you working on right now?
Well, right now I'm trying to focus on exactly what this episode is, my confidence level in myself, specifically, that, I can do anything that I set my mind to. I truly can. And it's just a word that you can't, it's just one thing that you're afraid of, but everything that I've done so far that I was terrified to do has led me to this exact moment. And I wouldn't change taking any of that back.
So good. So good. And just tell me a little bit of your story. Now, I know that jumping into the raw was definitely not easy for you. Can you share a little bit of that story too?
Well, I was like everyone. I mean, the money was definitely worrying to me, but I mean, it's totally true. You're just going to make it back. What's the point of holding on to it if you're never going to do anything with it? But I was very afraid to put myself out there, because I had put myself out there before and I was just stomped on repeatedly. And I kept people in my life that I thought were close to me, and all they ended up doing was hurting me. And I was to the point that I blamed them for being so mean and for hurting my feelings and making me feel the way that I felt. But it once I really looked at it and thought about it, it was, I had a hand to play in where I was in my life. I'm the only one that made the choices that put me where I was. And thinking about, just everything that I had gone through, it didn't pay to hold on to being angry at these people for hurting me. It was such a weight to be able to forgive them for what they had done to me. It's definitely something that you can't put a price on.
And okay, so talk to us. By the way, CJ is telling me to ask you about your job. So let's go to that. And then I want to get back to the investment portion, because you didn't fully tell us like what, the chance that you took on you and why. And people need to hear this.
Well, for my job, talking about confidence, I felt strong enough and brave enough and confident in myself that I gave my resignation this week to ditch a toxic work environment that is no longer anything that I want to be a part of. And I don't have another job yet, but I'm confident in myself that I can find another job.
Hell yeah, you can.
It's all about where I want to go right now and how, who I want to be around. It's not about staying to make somebody feel better. I'm not going to lower my standards anymore just because people in my life don't have any.
I love that. Gosh. Okay, talk to us about, coming up with an investment for the Raw Transformation Program.
For the investment, looking at the money, it was a little bit much, but I found a way to figure it out. I worked extra hours and I just took the chance and said, screw it, I'm doing it. I'm not gonna sit, I'm not gonna look at it, because my happiness has been gone for so long. I haven't been myself for way too long. My smile had gone. I felt like my life was just draining out of me, and I was sitting on the sidelines watching it just go by. And after going through the TKC and hearing how passionate you guys are, and it's not just about losing weight. It's not a fitness training thing that you're going to go through and just, be a robot and do these exercises every day. It's about changing how you think about yourself, to love yourself. You're worth so much more than, you can ever imagine. And if you're not going to invest the time in yourself, you're just going to miss out. You're never going to be able to see how far you can go and how much of a badass that you can become just from changing how you talk to yourself.
Yeah. So good. What would you tell anybody who is like, it's out of my budget, I can't afford this right now?
It is an investment to make for sure, but it's so worth it. You can't put a price on being your true self and finding your happiness. You just can't. That money's going to come back. It will come back. There's no doubt about it. Everybody goes to work. You always get your paycheck, but it's worth it for you to see, really to unlock what your best potential is. Everybody is so stuck these days, with how society is, and everybody's just so angry and just going about their days, not loving their life anymore. And it's life is too short to miss it. The investment is more than worth it. I mean, if you just want to sit and, drowned in the sadness in the world, which I don't think anybody does, because it's awful to watch people, be depressed every day and just think that there's nothing better for them. It's it's so sad, and it is the best investment that I have ever made. And I really, really, really believe that everybody should have this opportunity to be able to go through this, because this is a life-changing thing that you guys are doing. And I can't even put any more words to it.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. And I want to ask you this. If we were to take back all of the wisdom that you've gained, all of the experiences that you've gained, who you've become in the process, and we were to ask you, we'll only give it back to you if you tell us how much money you'd pay for this. Like, if you could put a number to it, what would that number be?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's priceless. I
What if you could put a number to it?
I don't know. I would pay as much as I had to be able to be here, because I don't ever want to go back to where I was. It was not a place to be, and it was not a way to live.
Yeah. It's priceless. But what's your type of priceless? And I share this, Ashley, I know this is a big question. It's just, when you know what it's like, you know the value. But when you are currently, you know this because you see it differently. You can now see the blind spots. When you're stuck in this place where you've been just, going through life, having lost your purpose, just going through the motions, finding another way to justify the next time that you sabotage yourself. Like, if you would actually, okay, because I'm not going to take away your wisdom. That is the beauty of it. Nobody can take it away from you. But if you could literally, like, put a price point on it, just so that people can really understand what it's like on the other side, what would that number be?
10,000 for.
You guys, whatever priceless looks like to you, to Ashley, it's 10,000. What would you pay to gain your life back, to gain your confidence back, to gain your body back, to do the hard things that you couldn't even fathom doing before? And who would you need in your corner to do that? So I want to ask you two questions. I want to ask you about the experience with the coaching team. So the VIP experience, and then also just like the entire coaching team community. Like, how did that positively impact you? And I also understand that, based on what you said earlier, in the past, people have hurt you. And what did you expect going into it? And what was it actually like?
Hearing all of the coaches' stories and seeing their lives every day, and they all have such unique stories and are all coming from different, places in life. It was amazing to get to know them and, see how passionate that they truly are for all of us to make this change as well. It was awesome to meet all of them. And, they all have their own very, very perfect way of reaching out to you. Some are the tough love, like get it done, and others are a little bit of the will kind of ease into it a little bit, like it's okay, the very, very nurturing, but they're all, oh man, they're all there just to see you succeed and be your best self. It was great.
So good. So good. And talk to us about the importance of not going through it alone. This was something that we, said multiple times during the TKC. I want to get your 2 cents on it, just from your own experience and your words of wisdom with regards to don't do this alone and the importance of that.
I know for myself, if I would have tried to do this alone, I wouldn't even have made it halfway through. I just would have given up on myself. But to know that you have someone in your corner, that even somebody that's never even met you, they believe in you. They're there for you for everything, every tough moment that you have. I mean, you had somebody to talk to, and it was so nice because I mean they've been there. They know how you feel. And there's it's just like somebody trying to tell you how to do something that's never done it before. Someone that's trying to train you in your job that's never even done your job before. You're not going to listen to them because, well, you don't know what you're talking about. But they've had their own battles, and they have faced them, and they have come out on the other side, and they all just want to see you succeed and be able to be where they are too, just as free physically and mentally.
Yeah. Amen. The team is amazing.
Yes, they are.
They are. They really are. Much love to you guys if you're watching this. I want to ask you a couple of questions before we wrap this up. Did you ever have the thought in your mind, like, what if I fail?
Absolutely.
And
I thought about, if I fail, it's just going to be another one. It's just going to be that little bitch voice that talks to you all the time that says, I told you so. I told you you couldn't do it. It was always in the back of my mind. I mean, even doing the TKC, and it was for free. Like, but knowing that there's a possibility that you're going to fail, well, that's the only way that you're going to figure it out, is if, you fail and you get back up and you keep going. You can't just lay there and die. You have to keep going.
Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. Use your voice.
It's, man, if you're just going to sit and you're just going to let your life go by and you're never going to pick it back up, you're going to miss out on everything. You're not going to get your full potential. You're just going to be sad. And there's so much more to life than just sitting and watching it go by. You have to jump out and you have to grab it. If you don't figure it out, life is going to make you her bitch. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be someone else's bitch. I don't want that. And nobody should have to deal with that. That's not a way to live. It's just not. There's so much more.
So good. What was the thing that made you move in spite of fear of failure when it came sneaking in? Because it's not just going to go away. Do you agree?
Yeah.
What were those things that like bounced you back up?
Everything that I have gone through, everything that life has thrown at me, every time that life has slapped me across the face, I still woke up the next day. The sun still came up the next day. And I didn't want to go back to that. I knew that all of the times that I had failed before, they were the only things that got me to where I was. And I've overcome a lot of stuff. And I know everybody else in this community they've gone through some crazy shit in their life, but they still woke up the next day. They still got it done. They still took their kids to school. They still went to work. They still did everything that they had to do. And, if seeing some of the people closest to me in my life, like watching what they went through, and they still woke up with a smile on their face every day and still showed up. I knew that I could do that too. There was nothing that was going to stop me to do it. If I wanted it bad enough, I was going to get it. And failing, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, you really do learn from every failure that you have. You learn from it. But it's your choice to realize and recognize if you're going to learn from it or if you're just going to keep making the same mistake.
Amen. And, I'm not sure if for those of you who are listening, and you too, Ashley, I think on day 3 or day 4, Erin said, you are a survivor and you've already been through so much. And you've proven to yourself that you've overcome. Now, wouldn't you rather overcome things that will help you to get in the right path rather than keep spinning your wheels on both ends, finding a place of no return? And shit, you sound like me, Fender Black. I don't know about you, but I'm on that ride. Don't put me on that ride. You guys, this is why we do what we do. Because there is a better way. And when you know that there is a better way, you become so, what's the word? You become so loud about it because you're like, imagine living in a world, right? Ashley, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Living in a world where everybody else is experiencing the same thing that you have and acting like you. Would it be a better place, Ashley?
It's crazy to think about. I feel like when you find that, you need to share it with other people because it would be better than living in the world that we live in today. The pressure that everybody makes you feel that you have to act a certain way. You have to do this. You have to look a certain way. And if you want to, blaze your own path and you want to be better for yourself, well, you can't do that. Everybody just looks at it as, well, I haven't done that, so why should you be able to do that? But if you can do it together, I don't know why you wouldn't want to find that group to move together. It's too hard to do it on your own. It is. But knowing that there are other people in this world that feel the same way that you do, that have gone through the same thing, that are trying to go in the same direction, I want to be with those people.
Me too. I want to hang out with people like you because I know that you get it. Now, and this is why we're here right now, hanging out. What would you tell anybody who is like, oh, it sounds nice, I'm just not sure? Like, if somebody is on the fence about making that decision, like, speak to their soul right now.
You're feeling froggy? Leap. Don't sit and wait for it. Don't sit and wait for it. There is no place like this community. There's nothing like this you're ever going to find. Don't sit and suffer in silence. It's not worth it. There are so many other opportunities. There are so many people that feel the way that you do, that want to be better. And there is a way to do it. But just open your mind. Don't be afraid. Everything that you're afraid of is what holds you back. If you don't just freaking do it, you're just going to sit and you're just going to stare at it and it's going to be like, oh, I'm still afraid. But if you just stomp on it and you're like, that's right, I'm not afraid anymore. You don't scare me. you just blew all that out of the water, and you're moving forward. You're moving forward. There's no more going backwards. Sitting and spinning your wheels sucks. It sucks. But to be able to see yourself move forward and be better and be happy and find other people that make you feel better about yourself and that encourage you and lift you up, that's so much better than just sitting and being afraid.
Preach it. Preach it. You guys don't even listen to Erin and I, just listen to Ashley. Okay, let's talk about what you've accomplished so far.
Well, I'm definitely better with holding myself accountable, to not give myself the excuse of you'll do it tomorrow. No. If I just keep saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, it's going to be next year. I'm going to be 35 then, and I don't want to just miss everything. I have definitely accomplished being not a slave to my food, and being able to walk into a room full of people where there's donuts, candy, my favorite candy at that, or birthday cake, or yes, it's Reese's. It just, I cannot worry about what people think of me. If, oh, you don't want to have another drink, or, oh, you don't want to do this, well, you're not somebody I want to hang out with then, if that's how you're gonna be. It's been easier to say no and be true to myself. That's been a lot easier. And I still have work to go. It's a never ending battle. But
the journey never ends. But how are you enjoying it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, man, like, let's keep going on that ride. 1 being, get me out of here.
I'm on an 11.
Hey!
It feels very freeing, and I can't honestly remember a time ever in my life where I felt this sense of freedom that I don't know if I ever truly knew myself 100% until now. I can honestly look at myself in the mirror, and I can be okay with the flaws that I have. I can be okay with what goals I haven't reached yet, or where I want to go, or I didn't do too good there, but tomorrow's another day. I can try tomorrow.
That's right, because every day is what?
Every day is number 1.
Come on now. That's right there. And what else do you want to tell the Ashley of 4 months ago? How could life be different?
Don't worry so much. Don't put this pressure on yourself that you need to be somebody for someone else. Don't think about that. Just be you. Don't worry about what you haven't accomplished. Don't worry about the time you fell doing this, or you fell doing that. You've made such big leaps to get to where you are, and there's only further to go. Don't go back. Don't look back. I've come too far to go back to being a person that I can't stand.
You didn't come this far to only come this far. I love that. So talk to me. If somebody has a question about your journey, wants to learn more about you, or perhaps wants to ask you some questions about the Raw Transformation Program, would you be willing to give out your information? And if so, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like anybody that feels stuck, don't don't think that you're alone. There's always something better. There's something better. I guess Facebook. I mean that.
What's your name on Facebook?
Fender Black.
Fender Black. Boom. There you go. I love it. You guys are beautiful people. We love you and we believe in you. Do you believe in them?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you guys, we're all in this together. We're at different points in our way. And that's why we say, don't do this alone. Make this courageous move, because the money is renewable. And also what you realize when you start investing in yourself, money no longer becomes an issue because you always figure it out. Do you agree?
Yes. If you want it, you'll get it.
You always figure it out, and the universe always delivers when you are making courageous moves that move you in the right direction. So believe in yourself. We are here to help you. And we have 36 hours left to get yourself signed up for the Raw Transformation program. So take yourself to rawtransformationprogram.com so that you can get signed up, because guess what? Train's leaving the platform on Monday.
Do it. Do it.
There you go. Just so you know, like, I don't know if you saw some of the marks, but like your family is loving on you. The community is loving on you. Fender Black, you guys. There you have it. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for your wisdom. You're currently in the inner circle with us, so I know I'll see you Monday morning. Are you going to do the workout tomorrow?
I'm going to try really hard to do it at the same time, but we'll see. I have to work. So
rock and roll. All right. Keep reaching, my friend. And for those of you guys who are joining us today, thank you for your time today. I hope that you found lots of value in it. And you guys, truly don't take our words for it. Take the words of real people who are just like you. And if they can, so can you. Much love, ES Army. Stay strong, friends. We believe in you. Take care. Thanks, Fender Black. Bye.